Welcome back, everyone. It is such a pleasure to have you on our. Oh my goodness, there's so many lucky numbers. Is this episode 21? That's
21 or 22, maybe.
yeah, looking good. Anyway, either way, I am glad to be here with my awesome co-host Richard Haggerty, coach of coaches, great friend, awesome co-host here. Uh, Builder of dream worlds and symbolic landscapes that help people overcome their problems. Welcome, Richard.
Oh, welcome, Oresztesz. It's a pleasure to be here again.
And I am your other co-host, Oresztesz Murgacs, as you might even see right here below, but definitely in the show notes. I am a coach, therapist that has been at this for the past somewhere around 15 years. You can find me on lessanxietytoday.com and of course in the other videos right here on this channel. So make sure that you're subscribed, make sure that you click like on the videos that you actually enjoy, and just let us know what questions, what themes are you interested, what do you enjoy hearing about, what would you like to hear more of, and what are the things that maybe we could just tone down. Also let us know to know how we can give you the best kind of information that allows you to move forward.
Beautiful, beautiful. And, Oresztesz, I think it's really important that people understand that your channel is a fantastic place to go to. It's a really wonderful resource. lessanxietytoday.com has got a bunch of great videos on. So I really encourage everyone to head there and keep an eye out on it, because you are an awesome trainer as well as an amazing hypnotist, and the content that's going out is very, very useful. And this is our kind of like weekly meeting where we share this and dive in. And anyone who has got any comments, thoughts, suggestions, topics, you will find a way to contact us in the show notes, as Oresztesz said. Please let us know, because we really want to make sure that we serve you and it's relevant and continues to be of real interest to you. And the feedback I'm getting at the moment, Oresztesz, is people really like it.
Wonderful. And I hear there are a ton of videos on this same channel by two amazing guys that just come together and they talk about stuff. I hope we live up to their to the expectations that those two set. So let's dive in. Let's get started today. And let me do a little bit of maintenance here. Oh my goodness, there's just
wow,
so much more clarity today.
Fantastic. I thought there was like a plume of smoke moving through Mexico, but it has gone now.
It's the Mexico filter. That's the we have to put on for the movies.
Fabulous. I love it.
All right. So you had a very interesting theme today in mind for us, where we can learn more about how to get into the right state of mind that we as therapists and coaches use in our one-on-one training, because it's extremely powerful just how much the human mind can achieve when it's in the right state. And think about this. It's very likely that if you can think back of any decision that wasn't the best for you, that didn't turn out the best for you later in life, that unless you just had absolutely no idea what the possible outcomes could have been, but whenever you made a decision that was not ideal, you were probably also not in the ideal state of mind. Most bad decisions are taken in a bad state. And most of your good decisions, the ones that really turned out to be great, that really move your life forward, you were in an inspired state. You were in a connected state, an open mindset. So it is actually really, really important to know how you can get in there. We use that a ton because that's where the most powerful therapy can happen. We use that a lot with our one-on-one sessions. That's when That's when we can help our clients go beyond understanding something and begin to feel it and experience it and express it. But just in general, being in a better state and being able to contemplate the ideas you really want to absorb, it's extremely powerful.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And I had the experience that a client recently I was working with wanted to know how to basically tell, be able to be calmer. And I said, well, would you like me to show you how you can give yourself that simple suggestion? Because it's a really useful one. Now, the interesting thing is that the backdrop to this is that I do it basically in a real simple, essentially, I guess, 2-step process, maybe 3 steps. But what happened is, and we've talked a little bit about affirmations before, but there was a realization I had really that fundamentally changed my life. And it was this, that I realized one day that I had sort of internalized some of the, should we say, the negative um, self-talk or suggestions or criticisms of people when I was very young, maybe some teachers or sometimes when parents or other people said things. But at the same time, I was also learning about hypnosis. And what happened was at a certain point, I realized, hang on a minute, all the things that are challenging for me are because I'm telling myself that it's going to be difficult or it's going to be easy. So all I need to do to be able to transform that is to talk to myself differently in a different tone of voice and tell myself the things that I can do or that I want to be able to do. And when I realized this, Oresztesz, it was like, it was so exciting because then the question just simply became, okay, am I motivated to continue doing this? Absolutely. Am I motivated to do that with a spirit of playfulness so that I keep it as a fun, enjoyable process? Not like anything serious, but just keep it fun and keep levity to it. And then the question is, what is the best state to get into? And what's the simplest way in which I can give those suggestions? And that's what I now teach my clients.
This is so powerful. There are so many golden nuggets in there. Then in just this quick description, Richard, this is awesome. So you're saying that first of all, when you recognize that whatever you told yourself before you even had the experience was actually very influential to how
Yes.
the experience would turn out.
Yes.
Or even worse, it might just even scare you away from trying the experience,
Agreed.
which then would automatically default to failure because you didn't even try, right?
Yep.
Wow, that's very, very powerful. And you change that. You change that by understanding that if you plan to talk to yourself differently, if you project a better outcome, a better expectation, that would improve everything.
Yep.
And now
100%.
you're ready to teach everyone how to do that consistently and how to have this relaxed mindset.
Definitely. And the beautiful thing about it is, Oresztesz, it's a fundamentally really simple thing. What I'm really lucky about is that I spent a long time thinking that I couldn't change the things that I was learning or circumstances or expectations in some areas.
Okay.
Because of things that had been said, and what I fundamentally realized was the only person who was telling me these things was me. And therefore, like at this moment in time, right, at this stage of my life, so therefore, telling myself something different would inevitably change that. And actually, the way that I do that now, by breaking things down to real small wins, small successes, step by step, it's very, very easy and straightforward to do. And the key is simply to have the understanding and then maintain a spirit of playfulness. Don't be attached to any time frame or how it's going to turn out, and don't worry too much about the past. Don't worry about the results of the future. Just enjoy the fact that you have inside you the ability to feel better about any situation you might have felt fearful of or avoided, or any situation, anything that you're really motivated to learn about or improve in. You can do that. If it's genuinely possible for a human being to do it, and it's important for you, you can learn to do that.
Very powerful. So where would you say this could be a very practical way of improving things? Like some specific examples. If would you say that learning this skill could be useful for someone who is stuck before trying to engage in some kind of a task?
For sure, absolutely, definitely.
Let's say they are worried about a presentation or going in front of people and speak in front of them.
Yep, absolutely. Yep,
All right.
absolutely. And the key will be to start off, like if I was teaching this to somebody, if I'm teaching this to my clients, I'll teach them to go with a simple win first. Something really easy and calm. For instance, noticing your breathing, or for instance, noticing your arm. Okay. Because then we can start to affirm what you're noticing and add on the first affirmation on top of something that's already true and working for you. So, for instance, I'm calm is good. Some people may like to say, I'm feeling peaceful, or I'm feeling relaxed, or I'm at ease. So you choose the specific language that works for you.
Okay.
But when you know how to get into this state, your body will tend to, you'll find that the suggestion you give yourself will amplify that state wonderfully.
So you're saying that if I want to create a suggestion for myself,
yep,
like let's say I'm going to be calm in this presentation,
yep,
the best strategy or a very powerful strategy is to start noticing things that I can agree with, even though I might not yet agree with that statement, that I'm going to be very calm. That's not how I feel.
yes,
I have every
yes,
reason to think and explain to myself that I should, that I'm
yes,
prepared, I know my stuff, I've done this before,
yes,
I've done other things before that prepare me and qualify me, and there is a reason that there are going to be people expecting me to succeed.
yes,
I have
yes,
all the conscious explanations.
yes.
But if I don't fully agree with it, what you're suggesting is that I should start with something that I can absolutely agree with. Like, I can notice my breathing.
Beautiful. And that's one of my favorite ones to start with, because you don't even have I can teach you and I can guide you through breathing into one and with a longer exhale. So if you breathe in for maybe 3, exhaling for 6, that's very useful. But a really powerful suggestion is, I can notice my breathing. All right. Can you imagine? I mean, just try that for a moment. I can notice my breathing. I can notice my breathing. And the thing is, as you pay attention to your breathing, like for me, I realized that I naturally tend to relax just as I notice my breathing. So then I could add on, as I later on, I can say, as I notice my breathing, I tend to feel calm. As I pay attention to my breathing, I tend to feel calm. Now, what's really lovely is that can start that process going, because you're only going to be working with and observing what is actually working. So with some of my clients,
So,
go on.
So may I play the devil's advocate right here? Because this is the very first step.
Of
So
course.
as we're teaching this skill to our listeners,
Yes.
what if I was trying to take this first step and say, as I'm focusing on my breathing, I tend to feel calmer. What would you suggest that I do if I'm this really, really critical person that I just started to notice my breathing and I don't yet? So just taking this as an opportunity to
I'm with
cover
you.
the principle
Absolutely.
behind this.
Absolutely. So this is the way. So I don't teach it. That's what I do now. This would not be the way that I would teach it to somebody the first time. The first time I would teach you, I would say this. I would say, okay, right. We're going to do what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to some ways in which you can start to relax your body and mind,
Okay.
so that you can so that you'll be able to later on be able to accept suggestions of calm. Would that be okay? And most people are like, okay, or I like that idea. So there are two ways you can do it. Okay, so you can do both ways. The first way is to look at a spot on the wall and then just simply let your vision expand out so that you notice the spot in front of you, but also notice the sides of the walls as well. And what that will do is that will quickly relax you into, it'll quickly quieten self-talk and take you into peripheral vision.
Mm.
Next step is simply to start breathing in and exhaling. Now you're already doing that. So just make the exhale longer than the inhale. And for most people, particularly when they're learning it, closing their eyes makes this easier, but it can be done completely comfortably both ways. And even as little as 3 rounds of the breathing can be very powerful. And usually in the beginning, I'll take people through 10 rounds of that. And once they're noticing that they're experiencing something different inside, can even give them the opportunity to do something really, really interesting, which is to become aware of one of their arms. Now, one of the beautiful things about being able to give yourself a suggestion of something like I'm calm is to notice an arm and lift it up slightly till it's just the lightest touch, or even barely touching a lap. At that point, you can pay attention to it and go, you can notice my arm is feeling light. My arm is feeling light. Now, if you let your arm rest on your lap after that experience, it's very easy to suggest my arm is feeling heavy. My arm is feeling heavy. My arm is feeling heavy. And I feel calm. And then to just take a moment to really enjoy the experience of knowing that it's as simple as directing your attention to your breathing, to your body. And once you're in agreement with what you're noticing inside your body, then adding on your suggestion at the end. And only when you're comfortably at the place that you can agree with. And it's perfectly okay in the beginning to say, and I'm starting to feel calm. Or I'm noticing that I'm feeling calm. Or I'm just noticing more relaxation in my body. Some people who've become aware maybe of a lot of stress and had a lot of stress now, it's perfectly okay to say, and I'm noticing the stress draining from my body. And tend to go towards calm or relaxation or peace, but it's perfectly okay. And that's the beauty. When you only pay attention and affirm what you can do and what you can notice and use your own words, it's the lovely, lovely thing you can do. So whenever you're ready, Oresztesz.
Hmm.
Comfortably open your eyes and come on back.
This is always lovely. I try to continue to be the devil's advocate to make sure that listeners get every single step of the way. It's just too much fun. Apologies if you have any questions, if you tried following along and you have any questions, do drop a comment here so we know how we can improve this explanation for you. But it was just too much fun to follow along. It was so much more easy and natural to enjoy this experience. And what I'm sensing is what you did is, first of all, it really relaxed me just straight up when you just said, "Oh, okay, well, that can happen. That's something that can happen." So that was very powerful what you did. I wonder if you can do that for yourself. If you ever feel like something is not working out, you just say, "Oh,
Beautiful.
okay, well, that's just me, or that's just what's happening right now, or that's just
Yep.
the situation I am in." And
Mm.
then you gave me easier suggestions, if I'm not completely mistaken. You just
Correct.
really simplified the first step when I acted like I wasn't relaxing even the first time.
Yep.
You just said, you can look at a spot on the wall. Yeah, absolutely. You can expand your vision. Of course, we can. And now, interestingly, that kind of already occupied a lot more of my attention to try and perceive more of the room, which made it much more difficult to try and disagree or try and do anything else other than that. So I really like the principles here. So my suggestion is to try and either simplify things. Well, first of all, if you can take with you an imaginary Richard that just says, that's okay, that's fine, that happens sometimes in your mind, and just take that as an idea, then make it a little bit simpler. You're going to do fantastic. This is going to work very easily for you. And even in one session, you can slowly scale this up to the point where you're beginning to give yourself suggestions that might have been a little bit more complicated to agree with if you're not doing this preparation before, and kindness, and taking things one step at a time, and relaxing.
Yes. Yeah. I think I just want to echo what you said there, because this idea of benign attention has been one of the sort of linchpins for me, really, with this. That whilst I'm showing sort of like a little strategy here, there are obviously many ways in which you can achieve similar things, and you can play about with different sequences. But when you keep it simple, it's not really the tool or the technique that gives it the power so much as the quality of the attention that you bring to it. So and it's taken me a long time to do this, because years ago, but basically one of my clients reminded me of this week. So he used to be a sort of semi-professional, I was a professional footballer. But what happened was, so he was younger and he discovered visualization now. So that was great. And he started using it every day, and he started going to the ranks. And after 2 years, he was doing really well. He was like really had really progressed. But what happened was, he kept saying to himself, I must do more. I've got to visualize more. So he got to a point where he was doing over 2 hours a day. All right.
Okay.
And he kind of went to a sort of point where in his words, he overdid it. And this was like years ago, so many, many years ago, which is why I was teaching him these principles now, because he absolutely loved it. And really the key is this, that it's not doing the process, too intensely or trying to get a result that will help the most. It's this light playfulness, this benign attention. We know that the quality of the attention for one, it will impact your mood, because you'll feel lighter, you'll feel freer. Right. Secondly, you'll engage with it. And so if something happens, like let's say I'm working with you and you go, oh, I'm the devil's advocate, I can't do this. Well, I'm going to stay light with and playful with the process. Oh, okay, well, let's try something else. because I'm internalizing that more. So now I can project that more. Okay. So this wonderful thing of benign attention is really kind of like a meta master skill that fuels everything we do, because we're trying to essentially for ourselves model that for our clients, that hey, you know what, you're okay, you can do this. Yeah, you don't need to beat
Yes.
yourself up. It's no big, like when your child falls over and makes a mistake, it's no big deal, you can do this. And that's really the kind of the net the real kind of like payoff that we want behind this, that we're kind of doing this. So we're doing these other things around it, but the kind of the vibe that we're bringing to it is it's no big deal, you got this.
Nice. Nice. So if you would like to, just make sure that you are tuned into this vibe. You take this with you, where we keep exploring different themes, and yet some of the things are very similar and at the core. That we keep coming back to this kindness inside, accepting wherever you are, being kind to yourself in the process, recognizing that, sometimes we have a saying in Hungary that your eyes were more hungry than your mouth, when that's what we use when you serve too much food, and then it's just staring at the plate and you cannot possibly eat another bite. Well, that sometimes happens with our achievements as well. So scaling them down and recognizing there's nothing wrong with shooting for the stars. It's just, maybe today you need to build the rocket first, or maybe you need to first build the engine to the rocket, or maybe first you need to learn how to build a rocket's engine, or maybe you need to first find out what is the best book to building that engine, and then maybe you need to actually go online and find that book, and that could be your very first step in shooting for the stars, and that's okay.
Beautiful. I love that, Orestes. When you know why you want to shoot for the stars, then that next step, I think, it, you know, what it makes me think is start wherever you're at and get your first win, your second win, and treasure it, however small, and build on that. Because once you can get yourself in a nice state and give yourself an affirmation or a suggestion that you can do something, what you'll find is your body, for instance, in this case, gets more relaxed. And that was when, Orestes, I had my insight from that pretty much a very similar kind of thing, that, you know what, my body is relaxing, my arm's relaxing. As I'm saying, my arm is heavy, it's getting heavier. I can do this. And I'm telling myself I can do it. And then I thought, well, what's different between this and, let's say, times I feel anxious, maybe about doing some activities? Well, it's because I'm telling myself, I'm noticing something inside me. And I'm telling myself, oh my God, well, what would happen if I relax that part of my body, like I did with my hand? So relax my solar plexus. Oh, my solar plexus is starting to, with that case, it's starting to relax. My hand is starting, or my arm is teaching my solar plexus how to relax. And I'm feeling better about the situation. What would happen if I started to do that? And immediately, I recognized that it was a transferable skill. Well, part of my body that could already relax, the part of me that knew could already teach the other part. And that's the power of starting small like this.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I do think today you are definitely taking away some gold nuggets, if not even a giant gold boulder. So thank you for sticking around all the way to the end. It is lovely to have you. Please make sure that you're subscribed and you click like on this video, and do share it with anyone that seems to be a little bit stuck possibly, or trying to or trying too hard in taking that next step, and maybe ending up a little bit anxious as a result. I hope that it's going to be very, very useful for them. And if it's you that you listen to this because of a recommendation, welcome. Good to have you. And I hope to see you next week. Take care, everyone. It was lovely to have you.
Take care. Bye bye.